4,669,359 people are subject to Irma penalties. Oh, they're not penalties. Yes, they are. They're tax increases for your Medicare. I was stunned by that amount. Stunned. There are only 60, we'll just round up, 64 only. There's 64 million Americans who are in Part A, Part B, or both, Part B, Part A, and Part D. So over 7% of all Medicare beneficiaries are subject to Irma premium increases. I was stunned by this, dude. And it's only going to get worse. And I'll show you why. I'll prove it to you. It's nuts. So what is Irma? Irma is the income, and let's just dive into it here. This is from, I can't remember if it's from the Social Security. I was just doing my daily reading. It's, I'm interested in this. So this Irma, income-related monthly adjustment amount, Irma. This is 2021. It's not even 2022 or 2023. So what happens under Irma is if your income is above a certain threshold, this is because the Medicare Modernization Act of 2003. Yeah, they really modernized it, clowns. If you have an income above a certain threshold, you pay more for your Medicare premiums, Part B and Part D. Just a fact, Jack. Now, it's subject. It's not AGI, adjusted gross income. It's modified adjusted gross income, which takes all of your previously what you thought were tax exempt income, which would be municipal bonds primarily. But there are other couple of small potato things that go into Maggie. Generally speaking, it's municipal bonds. And what they do is say, okay, dear Josh, your Maggie is $97,000 and you're a single. Your Medicare Part B is $164. Okay, great. Oh, but Josh, you make $1 over that. $97,000 is actually 1 penny. Your Part B premiums are now $230. That's a 40% increase. 40%. It wasn't always like this. This was freaking crazy, dude. Oh, this is a single guy. So a single guy basically makes $98,000 is paying a 40% increase in Medicare Part B, and then Medicare Part D is like $34, another 40% increase in Part D. It's insane, and it'll stay like that until your modified adjusted gross income drops. Well, with RMDs coming down the pike, how's it going to drop? And if you're married, it's $194. This isn't a current year 2023. Look at that. So if you make between $194 and $250 roughly, and you're on Medicare, your premiums go up 40%. If you make over $246, it's $329. Now check this out. This is for Social Security, but it's essentially the same thing for Medicare. Estimated worker beneficiary ratio, because remember, HI, hospital insurance, is through your payroll tax. Once you're on Medicare, you no longer pay HI. Now, you do pay Part B and Part D, but I just want to point this out. This is for Social Security. Right now, it's 2.8 workers to every one beneficiary. In 2040, it's going to be 2.3. Now, a lot of people say, oh, my goodness, but they forget the fact that it's a seesaw. The more workers, the less taxes. The less workers, the more taxes. So our tax rates have gone from 1% in 1935 to 6.2%. That's, again, for OASDI, which is not considered hospital insurance and your FICA tax. But anyway, be that as it may, it's the same concept here. The more beneficiaries per workers, the more the workers are going to have to pay in tax, and that's just a fact. The issue is you can't tax all the workers to death. You're going to have to tax the people who are benefiting from the services, i.e., Social Security and Medicare. So how are we going to do that? Well, they're going to raise the payroll tax, and that's the way it should be. You know, it's got to have skin in the game, dude. And so they need to raise the payroll. This is just for OASDI, Social Security. Not even talking about HI, which again, it's Medicare. But they're going to have to raise the payroll tax for Social Security. So right now, the payroll tax needs to be raised 3.42% of taxable payroll, which is the estimated long-range deficit. They're not going to do that 1.5%. I just say add 0.5 to each side. 0.5 you as the employer, 0.5 to me as the employee, and blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to have to do that. It's inevitable they're going to raise the payroll tax. But let's keep talking about Irma. We're going to look at irmasolutions.com, and this is I like this website quite. I don't know who these people are, but they have some software program in here. But I'm a big fan of what they've done here. Irma is simply a tax on people who earn too much. And again, you're not even earning. It's not earned income in retirement. It's passive income, if you will. It's non-earned income essentially, and the more you make, the more you pay. And so I want to show you something here. So we're going to scroll down here to this full history of the Irma right here. This actually is insane. Heard about Irma yet? You will. That's no doubt, man. So we're going to scroll down here. 2007 Irma brackets, 80,000 or less for singles, 160 or less for married. Now, if we scroll over here, where did the thing go? I guess I got rid of it. 1 second. Well, I guess we'll just go down. So that's 2007. All right, so we're going to scroll all the way down here to 2022 right here. The first bracket went from 80,000 to 991. Wow. The second bracket went from 100 to 114. Wow. The third bracket was actually lower than it was in 2007. Isn't that interesting? So we've had hardly an increase in all in these brackets. And I found it was very interesting. The thing that's going to tick you off. Check this out. Right here. Right here. The 2013, the Bipartisan Policy Center. And I bash these guys because these are clowns. Oh, I can't stand the Bipartisan Policy Center. Lobbied for the Irma income thresholds to be lower by 11% and over 45% for individuals. This is what they wanted. They wanted for individuals to be 60,000 or more. You got subject to Irma. 90,000 for married couples. You got subject to Irma. That's what they wanted. The Bipartisan Policy Center. So screw those guys. Freaking John McCain and Trent Lotz and all these clowns. That's the Republicans. The Democrats have their same group of freaking clowns. If it comes from the Bipartisan Policy Center, run for the hills, dude, because they freaking suck. But during the same time, Obama, when he increased the Irma surcharges, the budget called for restructuring Irma premiums under Part D and Part B by increasing the lowest income-related premium 5 percentage points to 40%, which is where we are now. So right here, you pay 40% more if you fall into these two categories. Single, 85,000, married, 170. Now it's like 81, basically 1% more than that now. It's crazy. By 2015, Congress enacted the Bipartisan Budget Act that did not take into account changes called for by the presidential budget. This act ensured that This act ensured that the Irma brackets were to remain constant through 2028, as they were not to be adjusted for inflation until that year. But here comes President Trump, man, who freaking crushed. In 2018, Congress passed another bipartisan budget act that altered the Irma brackets to where it is today by adding a fifth surcharge. It also provided language to have the Irma brackets adjust for the CPI starting at CPIU, which is good, starting in 2028. So thankfully, Trump got through what Obama did not want in the bipartisan budget center, what the hell the stupid people called, didn't want. They didn't want to adjust it for inflation. They want more and more people subject to Irma. It's crazy. They can all kiss my big fat behind. But Trump said, and so Trump was able to get by not being like the AMT used to be and the Social Security were not subject to inflation. So more and more people got taken in by this because it was not subject to inflation. So basically now almost everybody's paying Social Security tax because when it first came out in 1983, it was very few people were subject to it because the limits were much, much higher than anyone was getting for retirement income. Well, that hasn't changed since 1983. We're talking literally 40 years later. That's called inflation tax bracket creep due to inflation. They used to do the same thing in capital gains too, by the way. They didn't inflate it due to CPI for capital gains. It's nuts. Anyway, so the point being here is Irma is a freaking bear, dude, and it's only going to get worse. So when I did my video yesterday on it's hard to do Roth conversions for single people because of Obamacare, well, the guy I was referring to specifically isn't going to be subject to Irma, but you may be, and if you, I tell you, man, this is why people on YouTube drive me up the wall, the commentators. So you're saying Roth conversions aren't good? No, I'm saying specific people need to have specific planning done, dude. If you're under the Irma threshold, making $50,000 a year, who cares? And if you don't need to have a Roth conversions, which would get you out of Obamacare premium credits, it doesn't make any sense. But let's just say you have a pension and you're not on. Let's say you have a pension, you have $1.5 million in IRAs and stuff, and let's just say you're on employer health care and you're not on Obamacare. Well, you don't need to worry about the Obamacare premium credits, so you might want to be doing freaking Roth conversions. Why? Because you could be seeing significant increases in your Irma. Now, I was talking to a guy the other day. He was about 150 or so. I said, look, dude, the Irma inflation, you're probably not going to be subject to it. It didn't make sense in my opinion because you're not going to be. It's going to be tough to see you guys being Irma. He was there. He was close, but he wasn't close enough to where I said, "Yeah, you'd want to do Roth conversions." It didn't. I didn't. It wasn't a good enough endeavor to do it. And he had like 1.2 million in IRA or something like that. I can't remember. He was approaching there, but it wasn't there. It wasn't there. It wasn't. Roth conversions. They make sense. They make sense, dude. It's without question, unequivocal. A lot of times they don't make sense because you have a lot of aspects in play. You're like, well, if this happens and that happens, and you're like, yeah, but that's too much, dude. That's too much. But if probably sitting on over $1.5 to $2 million in IRAs, and again, this guy was like 59 or something like that, so he could be spending down his IRAs before RMDs kick in as well. And I can't remember the whole story. I just remember he was. So let's just say these are the Irma stuff, and he was like right here, and I was like, yeah, you're not. They still got a lot of, and the Irma stuff is inflated, thankfully now because Trump, and his income probably won't grow to the extent that his Irma stuff does. So the Irma stuff is inflated at CPI. I mean, I don't know. But he had a lot of wiggle room there. It just didn't make sense. It was close, but I was like, I don't see it. But other people, on the other hand, absolutely, man. It makes complete sense to do Roth conversions before RMDs kick in, or at least spend down your IRA before RMDs kick in, because the IRMA is going to get you. It's going to bite you in the bud. And once it bites you and you're on RMDs, there's nothing you can do about it. You can give away the money. That's it. To a charity, not to your kids, because if you give it to your kids, you're still taking out as ordinary income. You still got to pay 1040. You still got to pay tax on your 1040. Anyway, they're going to get us coming or going, dude. There's no other way around it. So, and I'm going to do another video on Scott Single, if he should even contribute to his pre-tax accounts anymore. I'll do that later. But I tell you, man, it's shocking to me. And it's only going to get worse because there is no money in these. Don't forget, Medicare is broke right now, dudes. It's not just Social Security. All these people, well, I'm Social Security, I don't plan on it for my retirement. Oh, what are you going to do for health care? I'm going to Medicare. Freaking idiots, dude. I shouldn't say that. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? So you're not gonna use Social Security in your planning, but you're just blindingly gonna use Medicare as if Medicare is solvent? Are you freaking nuts? Yeah. All right. Whatever your thoughts, we'll see you. Don't forget to subscribe. I gotta say at the front end, because no one watches very few people watch the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe to Doobly Doo. I'll be interviewing Craig Israelson at 4 p.m. Eastern time, live stream, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks.